Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, lecturer and friends. There is a proverb that say you don't have a second trying to make a first impression. Often this first impression come from work. This is the topic of my discussion today about introduction to plant anatomy. I am Anissa Putrikusuma as the moderator in this presentation. My colleagues in this presentation, Zara Alia Yuda as the presenter today. Okay, let me give it to the presenter.
Okay, thanks to moderator. I will explain today's material about plant anatomy. There are table of contents. The first material is scope of plant anatomy. This includes cell and then organs and then plant tissue, and then the second material is history of cell discovery. And then the third, this material is plant cells. And then the fourth, this the relationship of plant anatomy with other botanical science. So, what is plant anatomy? Plant anatomy is a branch of biology that studies the internal structure of plants, including the cells, tissue, and organs that make up the plant body. It helps us understand how plants grow, develop, and function under various environmental conditions. Okay, the next material. Okay, the next material is scope of plant anatomy. Okay, the first material is plant cell. Plant cells are the basic unit and building blocks of life in organism of the kingdom Plantae. They are cells that have a distinct nucleus and other cellular organelles enclosed within a membrane, and those are eukaryotic in origin. You can see in the picture there are cell wall. Cell wall, the function is providing mechanical strength, support, and rigidity to the cell, and then providing shape out to the plant, and then allowing selective entry of small molecules inside the cell while preventing large molecules, and then protecting the delicate inner organelles from outer shock, and then providing turgidity to plants that allows movement of water and minerals throughout the plant body. The second is plastid. They are double membrane bone organelles that have their own genetic material. Plastids are mainly of three types. The first type is chloroplast. Chloroplast found in the green parts of a plant and algae that contain the photosynthetic pigment chlorophyll. And then the second type is leucoplast. Leucoplast you can find in the non-photosynthetic tissue of plants. And then the three types, there are chromoplasts. Colored plastic found in fruits and flowers of plants. Chromoplasts normally have red, orange, and yellow colored pigments. The function is absorbing light energy. This is a function of chloroplast, and then converting light energy into chemical energy to produce both in the form of carbohydrate by a process called photosynthesis, and then providing defense against infection, and then helping in the production of high energy phosphate and phosphate molecule or ATP, and then storing of protein, lipid, starch, and then synthesizing and storing color pigments. Okay, the third, there are central vacuole. Central vacuole is the large vesicle that make up almost 30 to 80 of the total plant cell volume. The central vacuole is often the large organelle in the cell that is filled with fluid ions, enzymes, and other molecules. From plants, they are also present in algae. The function is maintaining turgidity of the cell that prevents plants from wilting. wielding, and then storing of reserve food, water, and waste materials of the cell, and then breaking of macromolecules into simple ones using specific enzyme present inside them. The four cell membrane of plasma membrane. The function is protecting the cell from the outside environment and thus providing additional structural support, and then maintaining the shape of the cell, and then regulating the entry and exit of nutrients, essential minerals, and toxic waste product within the cell, and then helping in the formation of tissue, helping in cellular communication, and then regulating cell growth. Okay, and then five, endoplasmic reticulum or ER. It is a series of membrane within the cytoplasm that forms connection with the nucleus on side and cell membrane on other. It is of two types, rough endoplasmic reticulum and then smooth endoplasmic reticulum. The surface of RER has ribosomes attached to it, while they are absent in SER. The function is helping in the formation of nuclear membrane during cell division, and then producing transmembrane proteins, lipid, glycogen, and other steroids like cholesterol for its membrane and other parts of the cell, and then packaging and transporting of protein and carbohydrates to other organelles, and then providing an increased surface area for cellular interaction, and then forming the skeletal framework of the cell. And then the six, there are Golgi apparatus, also known as Golgi body or Golgi complex. The function is synthesizing complex polysaccharides of the cell wall, and then processing, packaging, transporting, and secretion of the proteins produced in the raw endoplasmic reticulum, and then performing protein modifications such as phosphorylation, phosphorylation and then glycosylation, and then breaking down of proteins into simpler ones. And then there are microfilaments or actin filament. They are a network of long and thin protein fibers present in the cytoplasm of the cell, having a diameter of 3 to 6 nanometer. And then microfilaments are composed of actin proteins that make them extremely strong and flexible. The function is helping in the contraction of muscles, and then helping in cell movement, and then aiding in cell division, and then maintaining cell shape, and then helping in the flow of cytoplasm contesting including nutrient within the cell or cytoplasmic streaming. And then 8. Microtubulus. The function is maintaining the structure of the cell, helping in cell movement, and then participating in cell division, and then helping in the movement of cell organelles and nutrients within the cell cytoplasmic streaming, and then helping in cellular communication. And then the 9, intermediate filaments. The function is maintaining the structural integrity of the cell, and then maintaining cell shape, and then helping in the movement of cell organelles and nutrients within the cell. And then the 10, mitochondria. The function is producing the energy current of the cell, the ATP, and then helping in cellular respiration, which involves breaking down of nutrients to generate energy, and then they maintain the concentration of Ca2 plus within the cell by working closely with the endoplasmic reticulum. And then the 11, there are nucleus. The function is storing the genetic material of the cell, and then controlling cell growth and reproduction, and then controlling and coordinating center of the cell, and then transmitting genetic information to the next generation. And then 12, peroxisome. Peroxisome, the function is performing oxygen-dependent breakdown of substrates such as fatty acid and glycerol, and then helping in the recycling of carbon during cell metabolism. And then ribosome. Ribosome function is synthesizing proteins required for all cellular activity, including growth and reproduction. And then cytoplasm. Cytoplasm function is maintaining integrity and thus help in keeping cell shape and then assisting several metabolic activities such as cell division, respiration, and breaking down of waste products, and then keeping the cell organelles in their position, and then providing the raw materials necessary for the chemical reaction within the cell. And then the last, this plasmodesmata. Plasmodesmata, the function is allowing movement of water, nutrients, and small signaling molecules between neighboring cells, and then transferring viral genomes between cells, and then helping in the cellular communication. Okay, the next material is plant tissue. Plant tissue are of two main types. There are meristem tissue and then permanent tissue. Meristem tissue is like stem cell in animals that have the potential to divide throughout life, thus contributing to plant growth. And they are found in the stem and root meristem. First is meristem tissue are of three types based on their location in plants. There are apical meristem, and two lateral meristem, and then three intercalary meristem. Apical meristem, they are found at the tip of roots and stems, enabling a plant to extend in length. And then lateral meristem, they are found on the lateral side of the stem and root of a plant, facilitating growth in thickness or grade. And then the third, intercalary meristem. They occur only at the bases of leaf, blades, and nodules of monocots. These help the plant to increase in length from the leaf base. The next material is types of permanent tissue. There are dermal tissue, and then ground tissue, and then vascular tissue. Dermal tissue. Dermal tissue forms the outermost covering of the plant, called the epidermis. In stem and leaf, the dermal tissue is covered by a waxed cuticle that prevents water loss due to transpiration. In the leaf, some minute openings called stomata, singular from stoma, in the cuticle layer allow gas exchange. Each each stomata is covered by a pair of bean-shaped guard cells that regulates its opening and closing. Unlike stem and leaf, the dermal layer of root gives rise to some little outgrowths called root hairs, and then trichomes are small hair-like or spike outgrowths of epidermal tissue, sometimes found on the stem and leaf, aid in defense against herbivores. In woody plants, the epidermis breaking into a multi-layer periderm or bark. A secondary growth allows plants to grow in girthy. The periderm functions as the plant's first line of defense, protecting it from injury, dehydration, fire, and pathogens. And then the second, ground tissue. Ground tissue comprises much of the interior of a plant and helps in metabolism, storage, and support. And then, depending on the location and function, ground tissue are made of three cell types. There are parenchyma, collenchyma, and then sclerenchyma. Paren- Parenchyma, they are spherical elongated cells with a thin and flexible primary cell wall but lack a secondary cell wall. Parenchyma cells are totipotent and thus have the ability to divide and differentiate into any cell. They are the main component of young plant organs. They are found in almost all cell types, such as in mesophyll cell, stem cortex, and pith, and as a component of vascular tissue. And then collenchyme. Like parenchyma cell, collenchyme also lacks secondary cell walls but is thicker than primary cell walls. As their cells are long and thin, they can stretch and elongate, which help them provide structural super grow, supporting growing radiation of the stem and leaf. And then the third, sclerenchyme. Unlike other grown tissue, sclerenchyme has secondary cell walls composed of lignin. This stock substance is the primary component of wood, so the cell cannot stretch and are dead. They provide structural support to the plant. And then the third, vascular tissue. It includes two types of conducting tissue. There are xylem and then phloem. Xylem conducts water and mineral from the roots to different plant parts and plays a role in structural supporting in the stem. On the other hand, phloem transport organic compounds from the site of photosynthesis to other parts of the plant. The xylem and phloem from the vascular bundle its root stems and roots. Okay, the next material is plant organs. Broadly, plants have two organ systems. There are the root system and then the shoot system. The root system covers the underground parts of a plant, which include the roots, tubers, and rhizomes. And then the shoot system consists of parts found above the ground, such as leaf, stem, flowers, and fruits. You can see in the picture from this to this. You can say this is a shoot system, and then from this to this, you can say this is a root system. And then shoot system, there are flowers, this one, and then leaf, this one, and then fruit, this one, and then stem, this one, and then the root system, there are this road. A typical diagram of a plant body consists of two parts. There are root, stem, and leaf. Root it is the part that lies below the surface of the soil. The top part of a root apex, is covered by a covering known as root cap. The function is absorbing water and minerals from the soil, and then storing food for future use, and then producing plant growth hormones, and then anchoring the plant firmly to the soil and providing support, and then developing new plants from the roots of the old plant, vegetative reproduction. And then the second, there are stems. Stems, they are found above the ground and are structurally divided into nodes and internodes. The regions where leaves are found are known as nodes, whereas the areas in between the nodes are called internodes. The function is providing strength and support to buds, flowers, leaves, and fruits, and then storing food mainly in the fronds of trees, and then transporting food, water, and minerals to all parts of the plant body, and then developing new plants from the stem of the old plant, vegetative reproduction. And then third, this is a leaf, leaves. Leaves, they are mostly found above the ground and attached to the stem. A leaf consists of three main parts. One, the petiole, and then two, leaf base, and then three, lamina or leaf blade. The function is making food for the plant with the help of sunlight, carbon dioxide, and water through photosynthesis, and then helping in reproduction such as in Bryophyllum, a group of spore leaf plants, and then helping in evaporation from the aerial parts of the plant the plant by transpiration. So each having special function apart from these basic parts. A flowering plant also contains flower and fruit. Flower. They are the most colorful and attractive part of a plant. A flower contains four main parts. There are sepals, petals, stamens, and carpel. Sepals, green part of a flower, found below the petals, protect flower buds from injury. And then petals, colorful parts of a flower found above the sepals that help in pollination. And then stamens consist of an anther and a filament. They are the male reproductive pro- part of plant producing male sex cell or spermatia. And then carpel. Carpel consists of stigma, style, and ovary. They are the female reproductive part of a plant producing female sex cell or ovules. The function is helping in the sexual reproduction of plants and then stimulating pollination in plants and fertilization of the ovule. The five is fruits. Fruits, they are the ripened ovary found in flower after fertilization. The ovule after fertilization make the seed, which is then fertilized to form new plants. The function is protecting the growing seeds and then helping in the dispersal of seeds and thus in plant reproduction. Thus, although each part of a plant has a specific function, they all work in combination to provide distinct advantage in plant growth and survival. Okay, the next material is history of cell discovery. Cell theory timeline. For the first, cell discovery began in the 1600 when a Dutch shopkeeper Anthony van Leeuwenhoek discovered simple lens and used them to visualize single-celled organisms, which is collectively termed animalcules. And then the discovery of a compound optical microscope by Hans and Zacharias Janssen in 1590 made it even easier to observe and study cells. And then the next in 1665, an English scientist, Robert Hooke, observed a thin slice of a core under a microscope and published his observation in the book Micrographia. He noticed small box-like structures resembling the cells of a monastery and considered them termed cell. However, Hooke's observations were limited to dead plant material and he could not fully comprehend the significance of what he had seen. In the early 19th century, Matthias Selden, a German botanist, studied plant tissue and proposed that all plants are composed of cells. He postulated that cells were the fundamental building blocks of plants, responsible for their growth and development. Selden's work laid the foundation for the idea that cells play a vital role in the structure and function of living organisms. And then around the same time, the Theodor Schwann, a German physiologist, conducted extensive studies of animal tissue. He observed that animal tissue were also composed of cells. Similar to what Selden had discovered in plants, Schwann concluded that all living organisms, plants, and animals were made up of cells. This realization was a crucial step toward the formulation of the cell theory. So you can see in the picture, the image below shows a detailed timeline that led to the discovery of cell and the cell theory. there the three parts of the cell theory. According to the conclusion made by Sheldon and Swan in 1838 and 38, it was proposed that one, all living things are composed of one or more cells, and then two, the cell is the structural and functional unit of all living things. However, Sheldon's theory of spontaneous cell formation was later disapproved by Rudolf Virchow in 1850 and 55. He instead said omnicellular cellular, meaning the meaning is all cells only arise from pre-existing cell, which is included as the third part of the cell theory. Thus, combining the contribution of Sheldon, Swan, and Virchow, the traditional cell theory has three tenets. It states that 1. All organisms are composed of one or more cells, and then 2. All cells only arise from pre-existing cells, and then third, the cell is the structural and functional unit of all living things. Okay, next. You can see in the picture this one. All organism this one. All organism are composed of one or more cell. This is human cell, and then this is plant cell, and then this is one bacterial cell. And then two, all cells arise from pre-existing cell. This one parent cell, and then this one daughter cell. And then three, the cell is the structural and functional unit of all living things. And then from cells and from cells to tissue, and then to organ, and then to organ system, and then organism. The next material, plant cell. Cell shape and size. The shape of plant cells varies. Some are round, oval, many-sided, and so on. And then plant cell size is generally 10 to 100 micrometers, depending on the type. And then plant cells have cell walls, vacuole, and then plastid, and then chloroplast, chromoplast, leucoplast. The distinguish them from animal cells. Okay, the next material is plant cell division. There are mitosis in plants. Mitosis is the process of cell division that produces two daughter cells that are identical to the parent cell. The process occurs in meristem tissue, such as root tips and stem tips, which play a role in the primary growth of plants. Stage of mitosis is 1. Prophase. Prophase chromosome begin to decompose. The nuclear membrane disperses and the metaphase spindle begins to form. And then metaphase. Metaphase is chromosomes are arranged in the center of the cell metaphase plate. And then anaphase. Anaphase is sister chromatids are pulled to opposite poles by the spindle fibers. And then telophase. Telophase is the nuclear membrane begins to reform and the chromosome begin unwind. And then cytokinesis. The cytoplasm divides, forming two identical daughter cells in plant. Cytokinesis occurs with the formation of cell plate. The plate that will develop into a new cell while dividing the cell into two. This is meiosis in plants. Meiosis is cell division that produces gamete cell with half the number of chromosomes of the parent cell. Meiosis occurs in the reproductive organs of plants, such as pollen in the anther and ovules in the ovary. Stage of meiosis is meiosis consists of two consecutive division, there are meiosis 1 and then meiosis 2. In meiosis 1, reduce the number of chromosomes to half, and then meiosis 2 separates sister chromatids so that the number of chromosomes remains half that of the initial mother. So this is process progress for genitally different daughter cell, which is important for genetic variation in plant offspring. Okay, the next material is the relationship of plant anatomy with other botanical science. Relationship between plant anatomy and other botanical science. Plant anatomy plays an important role in understanding the internal structure of plants, from the cellular to the organ level. It does not stand alone but has a close relationship with various other branches of botanical science. 1. Plant physiology. Plant physiology helps explain how anatomical structures support the biological function of plants. And then the second, plant ecology. Plant ecology show how plant forms and structures adapt to the environment. And then the third, plant genetics. Plant genetics reveals how genetic factors influence the anatomy and development of plant cells and tissue. And then the fourth, plant biotechnology utilize the understanding of anatomy to development technologies in agriculture and genetics engineering. And then by understanding this relationship, we can better understand plant life as a whole. Knowledge in various fields such as agriculture, and then conservation, and then biotechnology. So that's all for me. If any wrong word and mistake, please forgive me. I'm return to moderator.
In the previous presentation, there was an interesting conclusion that plant morphology is related to various branches of science such as botany, physiology, anatomy, genetics, microbiology, bacteriology, mycology, evolution, genetic engineering, and taxonomy. In studying plants, the approach is taken starting from the cellular level, tissues organ, to the complete individual plant. The external structure of plant is studied in morphology, while anatomy discusses the internal part and physiology discuss their function. In seed plant, spermatophyta, roots play a role in the absorption of water and nutrients. Stem as support and delivers of photosynthesis result, and leaf that contain chlorophyll for the process of photosynthesis. Understanding plant organ is very important because it affects the growth and development of plant as a whole. This study also raises awareness of the importance of maintaining and preserving plant population. In relation to this, we are opening up the opportunity for further discussion. Please, if anyone from the audience would like to respond, for friends who have questions, you can fill in the discussion forum on learning.